Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today's a little bit early. As we all know, I think it's 3.1. We've got the Mercury Star Runner coming out. Okay. Now, we all know the the cargo size is supposed to be 96. Okay, but it's been stated it's got 102. Now, I'm thinking the cargo bay, the smuggling compartment, is where the other 6 cargo units is. Okay. Now it's divided into 3 sections of 6 cargo 1.2 meters square. But to give you an idea how I think it's going to work, I'm going to have to use the Starfarer's Jeppes tube as an idea. Okay. As you can see, I'm in the Starfarer. I've done a lot of work in this since I last came in here actually. So here we go. There's the Jeppes tube. Now in the diagram, okay, it was supposed to be wide, but I think it might be too much work on the sizes, blah blah blah, etc. So I've turned my Jeppes tube and my smuggling compartment long ways. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to climb into the Jeppes tube or the smuggling compartment. Okay. And as you can see, it is 2 compartments there long, and it is about, say, 1 meter in height. But I'm going to give you an idea where I'm coming from, okay? Tell me about the Mercury.
The Jeppes tubes are a lot bigger than what you think. This is my theory. It has to be big enough for somebody to crawl inside and be able to turn around without glitching. So let's create a physics grid for the human player. To what I have observed in the game so far, the human player is roughly about 5.5 feet. So the grid will have to be at least 2 so there are no glitches in length. And then you have the width in normal human sized, it's roughly about 24 inch wide. And they have to have a certain clearance on each side. And that is roughly at least 36 inch wide. Then you have your last size roughly about 16 to 20 inch wide. And the person has to be able to move around in the Jeppes tube. Any smaller and they will have problems in the physics grid when it comes to glitches. And the way I see it, they're not going to make a special size just for that. So basically if the man is on his back and he wants to turn onto his front, he will need at least 24 inch square. So at the end of the day we come back to 1 square. So at the end of the day we come back to a standard size of 1.25 square. Now to give you a rough idea of how big it will be, let's use a normal single bed. 6 feet long, 36 inch wide. One of the standard crates in Star Citizens is 1.25 square. So the height would roughly be about 18 inch wide. And that would be very cramped to move around, especially when you want to turn around, etc. So to be on the safe side it would have to be 1.25 square.
Well, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and find the bed in the Starfarer. Okay? I'll give you an idea how big the bed is in the Starfarer. If I ever find it, that is. It won't be that way. Let's go back up the tube. Oh, wait a minute. That could be it there. I've not been in this ship for about nearly 6 months, so it's a bit difficult finding things. Won't be that way. be there. Can somebody take me to the dormitories, please? You see, when you got so many ships, you can't keep up to date with them. But I will get there. I will get there. Remember, everything I do is live and uncut, so I don't actually rehearse these things. Hey! Who nicked the table? Oh, okay. We'll get back to that in a minute. Captain's quarters. We can use the captain quarters, but we're not going to. We are going to use the mess hall. I mean the dormitory. As you can see, the bed is roughly about 6 meters, sorry, not 6 foot in length and about 36 inches wide. Okay, just to give you a size comparison. So I can't give you a proper size there, but I have to get back on it again. They've done some nice work on this. Right, it's a pity. Well, you can't see it. But anyway, I think you've got a general idea. I'm sure you've got single beds at home. You can use it as an idea, okay? It's roughly about the same thing. And obviously you can move around in that bed when you're going to bed without having problems, okay? But guess what? I want to go into the mess hall. Somebody nicked the table out of the mess hall, but to tell you the truth, this is giving me an extra roleplay with this space. But yeah, we do know you have to have a table in here. Now, when I was developing my camper van in a small kitchen, space was a problem. Right, how would I put a table in here? Right, what I would do, I would extend this thing out a little bit more. Not much, but I say about a couple of inches, okay? Enough where you could put tables underneath. That's tables inside here. Sorry, not tables, stools. I would say you could fit about 4 stools underneath there, okay? And then what would happen, you'd lift these flaps up, okay? So it'd be like a breakfast bar. So it'd come up a bit, you pull the stools out, okay? And you got a breakfast bar where you could sit down and eat. Yes, I know it can only fit about 4 people and there's about 7 people on this ship. But obviously they'll have to eat in stages. And it would be actually easier to serve food on here. Just like a bar in a shop, but at the day, you know what I mean, when it comes to space, you've got to be logical. And you won't be tripping over. But if you wanted more tables, okay, you could do the same thing here. You know what I mean? This could fit about 2 more people. So I'll repeat that again there, okay? You've got the bar here. I know it's a kitchen or the galley, okay? When they're serving food and whatnot, the chef or the cook or whatnot, or the waitress, will just put the food on here, as you already well know. This will be a little bit longer, obviously, wider, I should say, okay? Then I would come in, okay? I would pull the flaps out, okay? So it then comes into a table. You have to be a little bit lower, obviously, because that bar is pretty high. Then you pull the stool out, and you sit down on the stool and start. Now, I've got chairs in here, so I'm going to have to make a makeshift, okay? That's a bit low, but obviously, if you get the idea, you know what I mean? It goes underneath there, pulls out the table, okay, and it'll be on hinges, obviously, and then pulls the stools out, and then it will sit down. Now, if you've got an imaginative mind, you can see where I'm coming from if you're good at creating things, which I am, you know what I mean. Now, I would say you could get 4 people here, possibly 5, I wouldn't say 6, and they couldn't make it any wider because obviously it'd be too much messing around. So this would have to be a little bit wider, okay, to fit the stools inside, and that wouldn't take any space, okay. Then you can actually turn this into a meeting room where you want to have a meeting with your crew. Now, like I said, at the end of the day, that can only fit 4 people. So obviously, if you wanted to create another 2 or 3 people, you could do the same thing here, okay, depending what they're planning to do that. Or you could create another table here, you know what I mean, so you've got the space. But I wouldn't put the table there at the end of the day. I would use this space here, so it's like an L shape, you know what I mean. So there's space for everybody to walk around at the end of the day, you know what I mean, and do different sort of things. Stand up and eat, sit down and eat by pulling out the tables as flaps and pulling out the stools from underneath. And if you did want extra tables, which you wouldn't need that much, you could pull out the extra tables here and do the same sort of thing. So, to tell you the truth, I don't know why they nicked the but no, CIG must have something in development here. Anyway, this was a short video, but I actually did this because I'm actually working on the project on the smuggling compartment on the Mercury Star Runner, okay. As you know, it's got Jeffers tubes in there, and it's got smuggling bays, and people thinking when it comes to smuggling, it's only going to smuggle cargo, but you can smuggle people. But to get the cargo into the smuggling bay, you have to be able to crawl in the Jeffers tube. Anyway, I will be back on in a couple of hours, okay, and I might be doing a long video, but this is something to do with Spectrum.